again in the woodyard, road construction. So my dad's property has roads going through it, and a lot of the roads have never been improved. They were just driven on over the years, and so they're getting some pretty deep, 2-track ruts. And what we're doing here is taking some sand and gravel, dirt, whatever we can find on the property to fill in some of the ruts and some of the low spots. There's some spots that get real wet in the spring of the year especially, or if we get a lot of rain, and it's getting kind of beat up, and it's time to kind of fill some of it in because it's never really been done. And my brother's tractor that he has there, his smaller one, not this one, is not really big enough for doing some of this stuff as far as grading the road, backblading it, or even running his rear blade that he has, his push blade he has in the back. So as soon as I had the tractor there, we took his little bucket, which is on my tractor, that's from his little TYM tractor, which for scooping dirt is okay. It takes a little longer, but it's better than a shovel for sure. And we're hauling dirt, gravel, sand, what we can find on the property, and putting it in some of the ruts, some of the bad spots, just kind of leveling it off, so that if I bring machinery in, as far as truckloads of dirt, truckloads of logs and truckloads of equipment in, that the roads are decent. So we open the roads up. You're going to see that coming up here. Cut down a lot of branches because there really hasn't been improvements done in quite a while now. My dad hasn't really done much to the property in 10 years or so since he had his Christmas tree farm. He used to keep it up pretty good, but he's 87 now, and he just doesn't really have the equipment or the ability or energy to do it. So we thought, well, I got the stuff there, let's kind of fix the roads. Now, the area we're in here used to be a gravel pit. For like at least 40, 50 years it was a gravel pit. And the lake that you see behind us in the video here is 7 or 8 acres, something like that. We call it the pond. It's 14 feet deep. It was dredged out, and it's spring fed, so it's all natural, really clean water. And the gravel pit was pretty much picked clean of rocks. All the rock was hauled out that they sifted and graded, as far as what they took out of it. So we're just kind of scraping what we can find where there's a few rocks, a few gravel, pea gravel. And we found that the sandy areas where there's sand we first started putting in was just too soft. So we're mixing in more like topsoil and some gravel into the loads and rubbing it back and forth with the back blade and driving over it. So you can see the base layer that's on this here is kind of more or less sand, but since we've been doing this, we've dumped, I don't know how many loads, a lot of loads with the little baby dumper here. This particular spot, we probably have 15 loads we dumped in there, and built it up probably a good, almost a foot on the left-hand side as you're looking at it now, because it was kind of a low area there, and it was getting pretty soupy, and we wanted to kind of fill it in. So that's kind of what we're doing, just improvements on the roads, getting rid of some of the ruts that you develop over the years. It's very sandy soil in that area, so it's pretty easy to wear it in. But using the dump trailer worked pretty good, and my tractor was there. So we spent, I don't know, a total of 3 different days, like half days. We would go and haul and grade, and we still could do some more work, and we've done some since then too. But mixing, we found, is a good way to do it. We found that there's enough gravel and some of this dirt and some of the sand, and the sand that's there. The roads are way better than what they used to be. We've been driving over them now for quite a while, back and forth, and put a lot of tracks on there, and it seemed to work pretty good. So, and I know some guys are going to say, why don't you just get loads of gravel and bring it in? Because we've got dirt to work with, so we're just going to do what we can with what we've got. We really didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money on roads that might not be there permanently. They're just basically trails. And someday, if this is ever sold or developed in any way, we didn't want to have determined where gravel was that would need to be moved or whatever. We just kind of want to fix the trails that we've got, basically. So it works pretty good. But yeah, the lake or pond, whatever you want to call it, is very nice. We've had this now for quite a while. And the land that my dad is on here, his dad owned this property when he was a kid, and then it got sold to the guy that dug all the gravel for years and years and years. And then when he retired, my dad bought it back from him with the lake, basically, the pond. So yeah, we're just kind of trying to find some sand and some gravel, and we kind of dug in a bunch of different areas. Like right here, we digging in to try to find some spots where there's more gravel, more rock. It's basically like old riverbed from years and years ago, so that's kind of what we're doing in here. So anyway, we're looking for some better ground. There's some stones here, but we don't want to take this away because that's kind of the bank. Just trying to find more rocks and gravel. This was a gravel pit, but all the good stuff's been taken. All the rocks have been sifted out, and over the years, because they were here for like 40 years taking gravel out. But there's some in there. That's what we want more of. Looks like lots of gravel, but basically because all the sand washed away, so once you get down there a ways, it's mainly just sand. And there's some pea gravel in there, but yeah, there's more gravel in this than anything. They must think we're gonna die. Turkey vultures waiting for us to fall over dead. Yeah, there's gravel in there. A lot of sand too, sugary sand. So we're gonna mix dirt, sand, gravel, kind of do the best we can with what we got. Looks like reclaimed tar here. Blacktop, which is good. Gotta be down at the bottom is where the good stuff is. That's got gravel. From what I can see, the upper part is more dirt and the gravel's down below. Yeah, you can even hear it. You can see where it's scraping the rocks there.